Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for WLBT Plus. My name is Cara Shirley. I'm your digital news desk host, here to give you I would say this week, but I'm here every day to give you today's update on some of the news stories that are happening here in Jackson and the surrounding areas. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching on our website, WLBT.com, or through our news app, very much appreciate you being here. If you're tuning in on one of our streaming channels, thank you for that as well. Don't forget, you can leave any comments, suggestions, questions, anything like that in the comment section. I like to call this our interactive newscast because it's our opportunity to talk to you and you talk back to us while we are presenting the news to you. We got several stories to give you updates on, some things that happened yesterday that we've gotten more information on. Going to pass that along to you. And then also later on in the show, we're going to be hearing from a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. Her name is Dr. Efrat Lamamdre, and she is on TikTok. Her name is Dr. E, the NP with the PhD. And she's going to be speaking with us on mental health awareness and how to make sure that you are on top of your mental health and paying attention to it and doing what you need to do to keep you as healthy as possible mentally. So we're going to be hearing from her in just a little bit. Kathy Ford saying good afternoon. Hello, Kathy. Good afternoon to you as well. Thank you so much for watching. Seashells Prosperity. Love that name. Good afternoon to you as well. Thank you so much for tuning in on our YouTube channel. Really do appreciate all of you tuning in. Let me know where you're watching from. As a matter of fact, Sue just said that she is tuning in from Georgia. Hello from Georgia. Hello, Sue. Thank you so much for watching. Well, before we jump into the news, let's take a look at what's going on outside over downtown Jackson right now. It is beautiful. Look at that. That is like a picturesque sky cam right there. Beautiful blue skies, not a cloud in the sky, sunshine. And if you're heading out there, it is in the mid 60s. It is a beautiful fall day here in Mississippi. Unfortunately, these temperatures are below average. They will be going back up just a little bit, but we still got some few days of cool weather ahead of us before we get back into the mid 80s and things like that. So, but it is looking great out there, and I can't wait to get out and get to experience the cool weather, because it's a little warm right now in my studio, but that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, it is very gorgeous outside today. Danielle, hello, Danielle, tuning in from Jackson. Appreciate you being here. Sabrina is tuning in from Jackson as well. Thank you so much for watching, Sabrina. And LaDawn, am I saying your name right? You are tuning in from St. Louis. St. Louis is about to get one of our very good reporters. She has accepted a position over there. So be looking out for. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to share her story all the way, but St. Louis is fixing to get some really good, or get a really good addition to their news team up there. So, but thank you all so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and jump into the news right now. Tell you about a officer involved shooting that happened in Jackson yesterday. So Jackson Police Chief Joseph Wade, he says that this particular incident, it all stemmed from an accident involving two 18-wheelers. One moment, let me make sure I got my audio right for you guys. Sorry, 1 second. And here we go. There we go. That's better. All right. So this was stemmed from an accident that involved two 18-wheelers on I-20 in Hinds County. A man driving a stolen vehicle hit one of the 18-wheelers. He got out, and then he started shooting at one of the drivers. So while this was happening, Chief Wade says that narcotic detectives pulled up and saw this happening, saw the incident. That's when they began chasing the man who was doing the shooting. Chief says that the man man ran into McCain Avenue or ran onto McCain Avenue and then aimed his gun at the detectives. That is when officers fired back and hitting the gunman. So Chief Wade went on to say that the gunman was shaken up, but he wasn't injured. Emotionally and mentally, he is shook up. Wait, I apologize. That was the police officer. I apologize for that. But it said that he was not in. The police officer was not injured anyway, so that is very good to know. An internal investigation will happen with NBI, as always happens in situations involving an officer or an officer-involved shooting. Chief says that he's going to be placed on administrative leave. The officer pending an internal investigation, and of course, the outcome of the investigation done by NBI. So, in a separate incident that happened on I-220 yesterday, JPD says that an individual by the name of Angelique Bernard was taken into custody. You can see Angelique here as she is being transported there. So she was taken into custody after another woman's vehicle was shot. The victim, the vehicle that was shot, the victim told police that someone was shooting at her from a vehicle. Jackson police say they detained Bernard after locating her car. She did confess to the shooting, and she was charged with aggravated assault and a drive-by shooting. So she made her initial court appearance today at Jackson Municipal Court, and she was given a $2 million bond, $1 million for each charge. So charged with aggravated assault, $1 million bond for that, and then a $1 million bond for the drive-by shooting charge. We're going to continue to follow this, and we will give you guys some updates on that. Sandra watching today from work. Hello, Miss Sandra. Thank you so much for tuning in. Seashells probably said, "Is that a McDonald's shirt?" Right? She did have on a McDonald's shirt. She did. Now, I'm not saying I don't know that she was an employee of McDonald's or anything like that, but she does have on a McDonald's shirt. But we're going to continue to follow this, and we will give you bring you the updates when we get those in. So 1 year ago yesterday, a student at Jackson State University lost his life. It was Jalen Burns. And what we learned yesterday, looking back on this case 1 year later, is that the man that was wrongfully accused of killing Jalen Burns has now filed a lawsuit. So this shooting did happen a year ago, but the lawsuit was just filed last month. We have three on your sides, Holly Emery, and she did a story on this. We're going to hear from Holly now.
Joshua Brown's mother filed this lawsuit on his behalf, and it names Jackson State University, the Public Safety Department, as well as several others, including Jalen Burns' fraternity, the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Brown alleges wrongful imprisonment, defamation, and a conspiracy on behalf of law enforcement to arrest him while actively knowing he was not involved. He claims the agency violated his 4th, 8th, and 14th constitutional rights, including the Hinds County Sheriff's Department for housing him in inhumane conditions at the Raymond Detention Center. As a result, the lawsuit states Brown's reputation has been permanently damaged and has resulted in emotional trauma. Jason Burns, the father of Jalen, says everyone's lives have been impacted because of this investigation.
You have to take responsibility for your actions. And I mean, it doesn't get any worse than what happened, but you know, if you say you love him, you know, and he was your brother, then you have to do the right thing. You know, somebody has to do the right thing.
Jackson State has until October 31st to submit a response to this lawsuit, and we'll continue to keep you updated either on air or online at WLBT.com. That's the very latest from here in Jackson. Holly Emery, 3 on your side.
And again, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of not only Jalen Burns, who still don't have any answers as far as who committed the murder for their son, but also for the young man that was wrongfully arrested for his murder. Our thoughts and prayers are with them, and we're going to continue to follow this. We'll follow the lawsuit, and we'll bring you those updates when we get them. Looking here, Makia Jones says, so much going on, praying for all. Yeah, there is a lot going on. Then Melissa says hi. She's watching, not wathing. She's watching from Carthage. Thank you so much, Melissa, for tuning in. We appreciate you all being here. Well, yesterday here on WLBT Plus, we had Catherine Newman. She is the Rankin County ADA that prosecuted the case against Carly Gregg. She came in and sat down with us. We had a very long interview with her, and she answered a lot of questions that a lot of people have been asking on social media regarding the Carly Gregg case. She talked about the allegations that there was something inappropriate going on between Carly Gregg's stepfather and Carly. That is not the case. And there was other things that she debunked. You can go back and watch this full interview on our website, WLBT.com, of course, on our YouTube channel as well. You can watch it there. But she talked to us yesterday about the also talked to us yesterday about the JNOV that has been submitted by Carly Gregg's attorneys and their appeal or rebuttal, the state's appeal or rebuttal to that JNOV. This judgment notwithstanding a verdict, I believe that is what that stands for. But essentially what the JNOV is, and this was explained to me yesterday by Ms. Newman, was telling us that the JNOV is basically where they are asking the judge to either set aside the jury's verdict in this case or to do a retrial, have another trial. So what we're waiting on now is to hear back from Judge Arthur. He has 30 days from the date that the state filed the rebuttal, which I believe was on the 8th, the state filed that. So he has 30 days, and he can either say, yes, we're going to acknowledge this. We're going to either set aside that verdict. We're going to do a new trial. He could also just decide to dismiss that motion completely and not have the attorneys come back into the courtroom, or he could decide to have the attorneys come back into the courtroom, hear arguments, and then make a decision. We don't know yet. We're waiting to hear back from him to see what decision and which path he is going to take. Of course, if he rejects this motion, then Carly Gregg's attorneys have the opportunity to file an appeal with the state of Mississippi. And obviously, we're going to be following this. We've been following it since the crime happened. We're going to continue to follow it. But Catherine did come in yesterday, Catherine Newman, and she discussed with us some key moments in the trial, some of the most popular moments, I guess you could say, the moments that got the most attention. She discussed some of those. And she also talked about the motion that was filed from the defense and then from the prosecution. But let's hear from her and what she had to say a little bit yesterday when she talked with Morgan Harris.
Dr. Clark in his report said that Carly was remorseful. When I looked through the medical records and when I looked through the evaluations that our doctors as well as theirs had done, I think the only thing that she was remorseful about was that she wasn't with her friends at school. I watched her when the jury was watching the video of when she actually killed her mom, and she did not shed one single tear.
So that was just part of the interview that Morgan Harris did with her. And of course, you can watch the entire interview that we did with her here on WLBT Plus by going to our website or our YouTube page. You can watch all of that. And then next Tuesday, we will be having Bridget Todd and Kevin Camp. Those are Carly Gregg's attorneys that represented her in the trial and will be representing her moving forward, especially in this the JNOV motion that was filed. But we're going to be having them here in the studio next Tuesday to get to talk with them about their side and looking at the case and how they tried it and just really asking a lot of questions on it. So if you have questions for them that you would like for us to answer, you can always reach out to me. You can watch it live. We're going to be taking the questions live as well. But you can always email me, cara.shirley@wlbt.com. Again, that is cara.shirley@wlbt.com. Throw this up here for you so you can see it. And you can email me if you have a question that you would like to be asked. You can email me or just tune in when it happens and ask your questions live as it's going. I'm looking forward to talking to them. We want to make sure that we air all sides of this and look at both sides. And so I'm very excited to have both Bridget Todd and Kevin Camp here with us next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So yesterday, Capitol Police got a new headquarters. There was a ribbon cutting for that. We're going to take a look at it, give you a look at the inside of the new headquarters here. So it's an 11,000 square foot building. It's going to house members on the command and administrative staffs. It also features a holding facility and a 911 dispatch room. Until now, Capitol Police officers were being housed in different buildings.
I've been blessed to be able to oversee the formation of the Capitol Police from basically a security entity in government buildings at Department of Finance Administration to a full-fledged police department.
So the Capitol Police Department is going to be spending the next few weeks moving things to the new building, and all the workers are expected to be moved in before the end of next year. Well, before we hear from Dr. E, the NP with the PhD, we are going to hear from Jackson Water. They are our sponsor here for WLBT Plus. Want to thank them so much for being a sponsor and making it possible for us to bring you the news in a different kind of way. So let's hear from them.
At Jackson Water, we are in the game and locked in on our goals. Every day, our dedicated teams are hard at work, ensuring that clean, reliable water flows to every home and business in Jackson. We are not just fixing pipes. We're investing in a brighter, more resilient future for our city. Jackson Water, water for all the time.
And again, thank you so much to Jackson Water for being a sponsor of WLBT Plus. If you are a business owner and you would like to be a sponsor here, you can always reach out to our sales team here or to me, and I'll put you in contact with them. But again, thank you to Jackson Water for sponsoring WLBT Plus. Now we're going to hear from Dr. E. She is the NP with the PhD. Now we spoke with her. This interview happened a couple of weeks ago, and things happen. We weren't able to air it, but it is still very important topic that we are talking about. And it is the mental health awareness. We were going to air it last week was Mental Health Awareness Week. Things happened we didn't get to, but we're going to air it now. And she's given us 5 tips on how to better take care of yourself and your mental health. So without further ado, we're going to go straight to that interview and hear from Dr. E, the NP with the PhD. I really believe that you guys are going to love her. Well, thank you so much for joining us here for WLBT Plus, and we have a very special guest to talk to us today. You may have seen her on TikTok, or you may have even seen her here on WLBT Plus before, and she is Dr. E, the NP with the, I'm getting this so wrong. Tell me your TikTok name again.
You got it. The NP with a PhD. You got it.
Okay, I was so close.
I tried to make it rhyme.
Yes, it was great. It actually is a great title, great name and everything. But thank you so much for joining us today. Tell me, how have you been doing since the last time we've talked? It's been a while.
I've been good, and I really appreciate being back here talking to your audience.
We love having you back here. I love what you do on TikTok, and I love the subject that we're going to be talking about today, which is Mental Health Awareness Week. You know, I've always spoken about how I'm such a big advocate for mental health awareness, being someone that struggles with mental health myself. And so I love getting to talk on this subject and hopefully helping people be more aware of their mental health. And I love getting to talk to you about this. You've got some tips for us to give people to help them work with or look at their mental health in a different way and maybe help them understand it better.
Yeah, and thank you for taking the time, right? Because there's so much stigma around this, and we really, these type of weeks, these awareness weeks, awareness months really help us remove that stigma as we talk about it. Yeah. So I think one of the things we really have to do is take time for yourself. I know it's so hard to do. We're all so busy, but it's crucial to carve out these moments to recharge. And it doesn't have to be a whole big thing, you know, just diving into a good book or soaking in a bath or doing your favorite hobby. Small little moments are actually a secret weapon for your mental health resilience.
And that is actually your first tip, is making time for yourself. I miss being able to take a bath. I live in a place now we don't have a bathtub, and I didn't realize how much that mattered.
You're so right.
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
a lot of places don't have bathtubs anymore. You're right about that.
Yeah. So, but I love that, you know, crucial to carve out moments for yourself, because I think a lot of people think, at least for myself, when I get into, I find myself getting into that cycle, or I can feel a episode of depression coming on or anything like that, I tend to pile more on my plate and focus more on others, and to not focus on myself. And so I think that is so important to take that time for yourself, because in a plane, if you're going down, they say, put that oxygen mask on yourself first.
It's so true. You're right. And that was a good point. Sometimes you, in an effort to not pay attention to the emotions, you kind of fill up your plate. And then before you know, you're overwhelmed. And taking these small little snippets of moment can really make a difference.
Tell me what your second tip is for those.
So the second tip is keeping a close circle. Whenever possible, right? Our friends and family, usually our friends and family help us stay light. They make us laugh. And if that's not an option for you for whatever is going on, join a club or a group where you can share interests and good times, because it's these connections. They actually change chemicals inside of us and help us stay balanced.
Very true. Very true. Keeping your circle close is very important, to have those people that you can trust around you, or doing stuff that you enjoy with other people that also enjoy doing the things that you're enjoying.
Yeah. So, and to your point earlier, sometimes when we're feeling depressed, we try to stay away. So you kind of have to force yourself into that, and knowing that that's going to help you get out of it.
It's so hard. It's so hard to do that.
So hard. It's so hard.
Why is it so hard, do you think?
I think, there's this nature to go into like the self-protection mode, right? You kind of close the wagons and go into that self-protection mode. And we don't recognize that it actually harms us until it's too late. And now we're feeling more isolated and more disconnected.
And that could actually lead into your third tip, which is stay grounded with mindfulness. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the word mindfulness, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, does this mean I have to meditate and I have to, change my outfits and get incense? I mean, it's great if you have all that. That's amazing. But it really doesn't mean all that. It just means taking a moment, truly a moment, to be present, to be aware, to take a breath. And doing that, again, little moments at a time. You don't have to change up your whole day. Actually helps balance the chemicals in your brain.
Staying mindful and staying grounded. One of the things that always I found so significant with me is realizing that sometimes when you're in that state of depression, or you're having a mental health episode, that it is hard to look at what's around you outside of the lens of depression or mental health issues, and to realize it's not as bad as what your brain is telling you. And sometimes you have to not trust what your own brain or your mind is telling you, but actually look and go, no, this is good. This is good. This is worth being here for. It's worth staying around for, and it's worth reaching out and getting help for that. And your fourth tip, tell us about that.
Sure. Moving your body. So never underestimate the power of movement. And I want to take a moment. That doesn't mean it's an intense workout. It doesn't mean you have to join the gym. It could be as simple as walking around the block, because again, when you move, it helps release chemicals into your brain, which can help manage stress, anxiety, and depression. And there's also something magical if you could do it outside, because then there's a lot that's happening, again, chemically, that can help you.
Now, in Mississippi, it's still hot. I mean, we're still looking at 90-degree days. I don't know if people want to go outside. But the fall is coming. Fall is coming.
Fall is coming.
Get outside.
Move inside for now, and then eventually go outside.
Right. And as long as I don't have to, lift weights or join a gym, I'm so happy to go do that.
You really, and I'm glad you said that. You really don't. Sometimes people think, oh, movement, it has to look a certain way. It really doesn't. Just put your sneakers on and take a walk.
Just take a walk, simple walk. Put in an audiobook and just go for a walk. Yeah.
Yes.
Love that. There's so many places everywhere, nature trails, parks. There's a place for you to go and get that movement. And it doesn't hurt to do it outside. Like you said, get that extra vitamin D, that fresh air, and all of that
Exactly
stuff.
Right.
So tell us more about, tell us about your fifth tip that you have for everyone.
Fifth tip, and I think you alluded to it earlier, and so important. If you are getting to that point when you're overwhelmed, you've tried the movement, you've tried taking a breath, and you're really overwhelmed, reach out to a mental health professional who can offer guidance, whether it's therapy or medication or both. I'm here to just say to you, there is no shame There is no stigma. It is not weakness to get help. You can make the appointment and get the help that you need.
Very true. You have to reach out. You have to reach out. That's probably one of the most important things is
Agreed.
reaching out. It's one of the hardest things to do as well, but it is so important. And also, if you're in a place of crisis where it's an immediate crisis, don't forget you can always text 988. That is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, mental health help hotline. You can message them anonymously, actually, and talk to someone and get the help immediately if you need it. It is always so important to reach out. Is there anything else, any other tips outside of these great 5 that you've given us? But can we get a little extra tidbit from you, Dr. E?
Well, I could tell to the people surrounding the person who's struggling, right? We talked about the person who's struggling, but maybe the person around, if you're noticing someone has a change of behavior, or, maybe they're expressing hopelessness, I want to let you know that they're not looking for attention. This is a cry for help. So step in, because sometimes you could be the lifeline for that person. Step in. Are you okay? Can I help you? And sometimes people don't know how to make the appointment or to reach out. So be that person, be that lifeline for the people around you.
I love that. That actually kind of makes me tear up just a little bit, because I do have
Aw.
2 people in my life, my husband and my best friend, who are those people for me that they will step in and help me sometimes when I can't even help myself or don't even realize that I need to help myself. So I love that extra tip that you gave right there.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And you know what? And you're being a stand right now for anyone else who's listening, because you took the time on your program to talk about this. And so you're doing that for so many others. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Well, tell our viewers, Dr. E, where we can find you, where we can follow you, get more information about you.
Of course. So it's really Dr. E, the NP with a PhD, everywhere: TikTok, YouTube, Medical Disruptor Podcast. If there's a platform, you'll find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, this is Mental Health Awareness Week. If you are in a place of crisis and you need to speak with someone immediately, again, that number 988, you can text or you can call. But Dr. E, thank you so much for coming on here to WLVT Plus and talking about your 5 tips to help those who may be struggling with their mental health.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I absolutely love her. She is a great person. Great tips there to follow. And so you can stay on top of your mental health. And remember, if you know someone or you are someone that is struggling with thoughts of suicide or are in a crisis, a mental health crisis, you can call or text 988. It is a national suicide and crisis lifeline. Reach out. You do not have to be in this struggle alone. Guys, that is the end of WLBT Plus today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow at 1:00. I hope to see you then. Make sure you tune in later today at 2:30, because that's when our weather team is going to be back here, and they're going to be giving you an update on the beautiful forecast that we have. Beautiful forecast for the next few days. Maybe it won't get too hot in the future, but tune in at 2:30 today with our First Alert weather team so that you can get an in-depth look at your forecast. I'll get the words out correctly here in a minute. Thank you again for tuning in today. I'll be back tomorrow at 1. See y'all then.